Hello class, and welcome to week 1 of our online session. Up for discussion today is Philip Jenkins's The Lost History of Christianity. And what I want to do in this short video is provide an introduction for how we're going to discuss Jenkins's work and its implications for how we think about the scope of Christian history, and also to add a layer to the current historiography of the history of Christianity. So Philip Jenkins's The Lost History of Christianity, it takes a dive into the overlooked and often forgotten narrative of Christianity outside the Western world. So spanning nearly a millennium, Jenkins paints a picture of these thriving Christian communities in the Middle East, in Africa, and Asia, challenging what are often Eurocentric lenses through which many perceive the history of the faith. And so the book's primary focus is on the period from the 7th to the 17th century, when Christianity flourished in regions where it is now a minority or it exists on the margins. And so Jenkins explores the diverse theological traditions, cultural nuances, and unique practices that characterize these non-Western Christian societies. And I think by doing so, he begins to help us think through the boundaries of Christianity, right? That leads us back to the big question. Throughout history, what is Christianity? And so I think he redefines the boundaries of Christianity in many ways, emphasizing its truly global and multicultural nature. And so by highlighting the contributions and challenges faced by Eastern Christian communities, I think the book broadens our understanding of Christianity as a truly worldwide phenomenon. So Jenkins unfolds the historical context by examining the factors that led to the decline of Christianity in these regions. And he marks these as political upheavals, foreign invasions, and cultural shifts. And these things are analyzed to provide us with a more nuanced understanding of the challenges faced by these once vibrant Christian communities. And I think one of the most important impacts of Jenkins's work is how he crafts this narrative that demonstrates how external forces, often intertwined with geopolitical events, they played a crucial role in shaping the destiny of Christianity beyond the West. And so factors like the political upheavals, these invasions, these cultural shifts, they give us an idea of how the boundaries or how we define and understand the history of Christianity is in constant flux. And so when I think about, when I ask myself the question, well, what's the impact of this work? Though it is imperfect, though I think that he doesn't tell the entire story, especially with mind to just this kind of diverse understanding of gender, race, and class within the East. But I think the impact here extends beyond just our academic purposes, right? I think Jenkins prompts us with a challenge to reconsider our preconceived notions about the spread and influence of Christianity. It invites us to kind of reevaluate how we understand the historical narrative while encouraging a more inclusive perspective that acknowledges these substantial contributions of non-Western Christian communities. And so in its exploration of this lost history, it also serves as a valuable tool for understanding the broader context and the broader histories of the people in the Middle East, in Africa, and Asia. And so by intertwining religious history with political and social developments, which I think is the great impact of how we can study the history of Christianity, Jenkins offers, I think, a more comprehensive perspective on the interconnectedness of faith in the world. And so that's one thing I want us to pay attention to throughout the semester is how does the faith, how does Christianity engage in this mutual process of exchange with things that we don't necessarily categorize as part of Christian history. Because I think what Jenkins does is he gives us a lens through which we can gain a deeper understanding of how these things are interconnected, right? It shows us how religious dynamics have influenced and been influenced by the ebb and flow of societies across different contexts, across different continents that are predominantly outside of the Western, march of progress in the way we write history. So today's additional discussion question that I want to talk about in class and in your weekly response is this: how might a more inclusive understanding of the global history of Christianity, as presented in Jenkins' book, how might that understanding influence our discussion on the role of Christianity in shaping cultural identity and international relations? So let me just give that question to you one more time so you don't miss it. How might a more inclusive understanding of the global history of Christianity, as presented in the Lost History of Christianity, how might that influence our contemporary discussions on the role of Christianity in shaping cultural identity and international relations? Well, I'm really looking forward to discussing this book with you today, or not today, this week, as we unpack the boundaries of Christianity and its historiography. I'll talk to you soon.